Tell me, do you know what day it is, Evie?
November the 4th.
Not anymore.
Hello and welcome to another Star Child podcast. Today I am going to recite V's speech in V for Vendetta because, as you know, or might not know, today is November the 5th, or Guy Fawkes Day, also Election Day. So here we go. Good evening, London. Allow me first to apologize for this interruption. I do, like many of you, appreciate the comforts of everyday routine, the security of the familiar, the tranquility of repetition. I enjoy them as much as any bloke. But in the spirit of commemoration, thereby those important events of the past, usually associated with someone's death or the end of some awful bloody struggle, a celebration of a nice holiday, I thought we could mark this November the 5th, a day that is sadly no longer remembered, by taking time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat. There are those, of course, who do not want us to speak. I suspect even now orders are being shouted into telephones and men with guns will soon be on their way. But why? Because while the truncheon may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there's something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there? Cruelty and injustice, intolerance and oppression. And where once you had the freedom to object and to think and speak as you saw fit, you now have censors and systems of surveillance coercing your conformity and soliciting your submission. How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others, and they will be held accountable. But again, the truth be told, if you are looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror. I know why you did it. I know you were afraid. Who wouldn't be? War, terror, disease. There were a myriad of problems which conspired to corrupt your reasoning and rob you of your common sense. Fear got the best of you, and in your panic, turned to the now High Chancellor Adam Sutler. He promised you order, he promised you peace, and all he demanded in return was your silent, obedient consent. Last night, I sought to end that silence. Last night, I destroyed the Old Bailey, to remind this country of what it has forgotten. More than 400 years ago, a great citizen who wished to embed the November the 5th forever in our memory. His hope was to remind the world that fairness, justice, and freedom are more than words, they are perspectives. And if the crimes of this government remain unknown to you, then I would suggest you allow the 5th of November to pass unmarked. But if you see as I see, and if you feel as I feel, and if you would seek as I seek, then I ask you to stand beside me 1 year from tonight, outside the gates of Parliament, and together we shall give them a 5th of November that shall never, ever be forgot. I wanted to recite that speech because I thought I would, resonate with you, because it resonates with me, as it's kind of the enunciation of the ugly truth of the U.S. government, as well as Britain's government. The parallels of V for Vendetta, which was written in the early 80s, and today are pretty starkly clear. And that's why I think voting is so important. I think it's our number one right as citizens to vote in every election, local, municipal, statewide, and federal elections. Today is a voting day. And a year from this week will be one of the most important elections in United States history. And that's why I want people to turn out in numbers never seen before. I want the United States to prove to the world that it doesn't elect dictators. So November 2020, I would like to kick Donald Trump out of the White House if he isn't already, in fact, impeached, which I would also like to see. But just to set a precedent, I would like the United States to turn out in numbers never seen before in the 2020 election. So if you aren't already registered, please register to vote. And a few things that we can also do after the 2020 election is to ensure automatic voter registration and especially guarantee the right to vote to all citizens 18 and older. I think that's a pretty smart idea. ending partisan gerrymandering. I think that above all else divides the United States. It divides every county across the nation into small regions, large neighborhoods that cut out certain voter demographics that in the end don't equal one person, one vote. So end partisan gerrymandering. Make Election Day a national holiday. I think that's a no-brainer. We have time off for a bunch of holidays, so why not make Election Day a national holiday? Get rid of super PACs and make publicly funded campaigns for elections. Overturn Citizens United. That's a huge one. And restore the Voting Rights Act. So that's my short list of things that we can do after the 2020 election, after we kick out Trump out of the White House. So happy Guy Fawkes Day. And I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. And remember that ideas are always bulletproof. I'm Starchild. You can visit my website, the Starchild Gallery, starchildgallery.com. I don't even know the name of my own website. But I would really appreciate it if you check that out. I have a bunch of cool stuff there that you can see. Weekly content on my YouTube page, as well as my Instagram, links to my Instagram and Twitter below in the description. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for tuning in.